trying to work out the overall profit of a business. And we've said already with the little formula I have on the screen that we have sales, and we're going to take away our costs, and that's going to give us a number down here called profit. Now, I'm skipping a load of lines in here after costs because it's a little bit difficult sometimes working out how much my actual costs are, especially if I'm constantly buying lots of different goods and maybe I've got goods left over at the end. Okay? But basically what I'm trying to do is I'm going to put some X's here where my numbers will be. I'm going to have my sales there. I'm going to do some maths here in the middle column, which will help me work out my costs, and I'll end up with a final cost figure which will go here. I'll subtract that cost figure from my sales, and that will give me my profit. Okay, so I'm going to underline the word cost here because I have to do some calculations. Just leave it there. It's fine. Okay. So, under costs, at the beginning of a month, I'm going to have some goods that I'll have bought. And I will have bought those goods last month. And those goods that I bought last month, I spent money last month buying those goods. But I'm going to use those goods up and sell them this month. So I'm going to start off at the beginning of the month with an opening stock. So that means we're now January, the beginning of my business year. I walk into the shop at the beginning of January, and on the shelves in the shop are goods that I'm going to sell sometime over the next few weeks. When did I buy those goods? Not January. I bought it sometime last year. So the opening stock are the goods that I have at the beginning that I'd bought before. Then during January and the rest of the year, I'm going to spend money on buying new goods. That's purchases. So I'm going to go out and buy more goods. I'm going to go to eBay and wherever else and buy some goods. So maybe some of those goods, when I buy them, I'm going to have to pay what you call a tax when I bring goods into the country. VAT. Not VAT. Import tax, also known as customs duty. Okay? Okay, so if you buy anything on eBay, I mean, has it happened to you that you've bought stuff on eBay from the States, for example, and you had to pay a tax on it? Sometimes they catch you, sometimes you can get away without having to pay the tax, but generally you have to pay this tax. So that adds to the cost of getting the goods. Maybe I have to go and spend money on getting the goods delivered to me. So the word we would use in business for delivery charges for goods is called carriage in. So carriage is the money you spend buying goods, so it's like a delivery charge. So when I bought the goods, it didn't just cost me what I spent on eBay, it also, they charged me extra money because of the fact I had to get the goods transported. We all okay with this so far? Yes? So again, I'm trying to work out what are the costs involved in running my business. So, at the beginning of the month, if I just put some numbers with this, I had €500 worth of goods in opening stock sitting on my shelves. I went and bought, during the month of January, let's say, 12,700 worth of goods that I was able to sell during the month of January. I had to go and spend an extra, let's say, 1,200 on customs duty, on my carriage in, so this is the transport to get the goods to me. Let's say I spent €900. So, all of this, when I add all of these numbers together, that gives me the amount of money I spent on buying goods, which I then hopefully was going to be able to sell to make a profit. We okay with that so far? So, during the month of January, I had spent 15,300 on goods that I had available to sell to my customer. So I'm going to call that goods available. Okay, so I had 15,300 worth of goods available to sell during this month. And at the end of the month, I went and looked at the amount of goods that were sitting on the shelves that I didn't sell. So I counted at the end of the month, I did a thing called a stock take. I looked for all the goods that were sitting on the shelves at the end of the month that I never managed to sell. So what I'm doing with those goods is I'm going to keep those, not sell them this year. I'm going to sell them next year or next month, whatever period we're dealing with. So that's called closing stock. And I'm going to, let's say, making up numbers for this question, I'm going to say that I had €600 worth of goods on the shelf at the end of the month. Okay? I need to work out the final number I have here, which is the cost of goods sold. So this is the final number for my maths, cost of goods sold. So I'm trying to work out the goods that I actually sold, how much do those goods cost me? So how much do the goods in this case cost me? The goods that I sold. I started off with 500. There was 500 worth of goods sitting on my shelves in my shop. I then bought 12,700 worth of goods. I have customs duty of 1,200 and I have carriage in. So they're all extra costs. And I added all of those costs together and I came up with a figure of 15,300. So I had spent 15,300 on goods that were available to sell in my shop. At the end of the month, I counted all the goods that were left on the shelves and I found there was €600 worth of goods left on the shelves. So what is the cost of the goods that I actually sold?
14,700.
Where did you get that number from?
I took 600 away from 15,300.
Do you see that? So the cost of the goods that I actually sold is the 15,300 minus the 600 that were left. So not all of the 15,300 were actually sold. We okay with that so far? Okay. So if I then told you that my till, okay, because the till, if you think about it, is a calculator. It counts all of the money. Every time you sell goods, the till adds up the money that has been taken in from this particular customer and adds it to all the other sales we've had for this month. And if the till says I sold 23,000 worth of goods, how much profit did I make? How do you work out my profit? So I have 23,000 is the money that came in. I'll subtract the cost of the goods that I sold, 14,700, and that gives me my profit. You okay with that? So this document that we're trying to do here is trying to work out the profit I made buying and selling goods. So we call this a trading account. Are we okay with that so far? Okay, fantastic. So I'm going to stop this and I'm going to put this exact